My friends, welcome to this episode of the Outdoor Gear Review. I hope you all are doing well. Inside of this bag, I have a product that I've been testing out since springtime, and it has been a game changer for the hot conditions that we've been facing this year. There's a product in here that I absolutely love, and I think you will too. What I'm talking about is this USB fan. I've been using this fan since spring. I've been using this fan for 5 years. This little fan is from a company known as RJVW. This fan here is from a company known as Smart Devil. These fans are virtually identical, but there is a difference, and that comes in terms of price. This little Smart Devil fan runs $23. This one here is $12. Over the years, I have taken this Smart Devil fan all across the country. I take it on backpacking trips, overland trips. I use it in my off-grid cabin. There's times where I even use it at home when it really gets hot. With the RJVW fan, as mentioned, I've been using this since springtime, and I've taken it on all sorts of trips. At the off-grid cabin, in the 4Runner, I've taken it backpacking, and so on. Now you may be wondering, why do I have 2 fans? What gives? At the beginning of this year, in the winter time, I heard from a viewer who stated that he had found a cheaper alternative to the Smart Devil fan. And I told him I would check it out. Right off the bat, I like the color combination of this fan quite a bit. Blue, it's fine, but this looks really good. So I told him I would check it out when it made sense to. So a couple months passed, I placed my order, got my fan, and I've been testing it out ever since. This fan here is half the price of this one here, and the performance is exactly the same. In this episode, I will be reviewing the RJVW fan in addition to the Smart Devil. I will be going over the pros and cons concerning both of these fans, and I have to say, when one has a con, the other has a con, because they're virtually the same product. I will say this, even before getting into the review, this here is like a cheat code when it comes to warm weather camping. The key to warm weather camping is airflow. All that you need is the movement of air to stay comfortable. And that's where something like this and the Smart Devil fan come into play. It could be 90 degrees out. If you have this on a table, blowing against you, you will be comfortable. It helps that much. Inside of a tent or a vehicle, this makes all the difference in the world at nighttime. It could be the difference between being miserable all night long or being comfortable all night long. Something like this truly is a game changer. It's a cheat code for hot weather camping. With these little fans, they are powered by USB. You can plug these into virtually any type of USB power source, and they will run for absolute ever. I'll talk more about the performance numbers here in just a minute. But when it comes to these are considered 4-inch fans. And with both models, you can find these in all sorts of colors. I will say that the colors that you can find them in changes week to week, month to month. At the time of filming, you could find the RJVW fan in these colors. There's black, blue, a creamy yellow color, and there's also a pink version. The green and orange appears to be sold out at the time being. Hopefully, they get that one back in stock, because that looks awesome. I really like that color combination. It looks good on tents with a brand new Stella, and it looks good on fans with this here. When it comes to Smart Devil, you can of course find these in numerous colors. The thing is this, for some reason, if you go onto Amazon and you try searching for this fan, oftentimes you will have problems. It won't show up. I'm not sure if that's because like other companies have like sponsored their listings or whatever, but for some reason, the Smart Devil fans tend to be buried. Prior to the spring of this year, I used this fan. So when people watch my videos, they see this fan, they go looking for it, they can't find it. It's there on Amazon, but it's just buried deep for some reason. So when it comes to the colors that you can find this in, you can find it in blue. You can also find it in pink. There might be other colors available, I just don't know. For whatever reason, it's just difficult to find these fans on Amazon. To mention the price one more time, this one here is $13. The Smart Devil is $23. As far as the dimensions go, they are almost identical. With the Smart Devil, it is 4.7 inches by 4.7 inches, and it's 1.9 inches deep. With the RJ fan, this is 4.8 inches by 4.8 inches by 1.7 inches. When it comes to weight, The RJ is 5.9 ounces, whereas the Smart Devil is 6 ounces. When it comes to the power cord lengths for these fans, the Smart Devil is 45 inches, whereas the RJ is 46.8 inches long. And lastly, when it comes to these fans, there are 3 modes: low, medium, and high. That takes us over to the review portion of this episode where we focus on pros and cons. Let's start with the pros first, the positive aspects. Right off the bat, the quality of these fans is fantastic. Both of these are really, really nice. They're well made, there's no issues, there's nothing to complain about. At the same time, they're also very durable. With the RJ, I've been running that since spring. With this Smart Devil fan, I've been running this for over 5 years and it keeps going strong. The only thing that I can comment on is that with the way that this rotates, it is now fairly loose, whereas it used to be quite rigid. But luckily, it does hold into place. You can easily angle this any way that you want to. Speaking of which, you can see here with the head, you can rotate this 360 degrees all the way around. On the bottom here, we have silicone feet so that when you put this on a surface, it stays put. Using these fans is super simple. You plug it into a USB and you push the button right there. Once for low, medium, high, and off. With these fans, they do exactly what you would expect them to do. They put out a lot of air. So much air, in fact, that most of the time I don't go above low. Not only does this put out a good amount of air, but it's also fairly quiet. That's medium, getting louder. That's high, and that's loud. On high, though, it does put out a lot of air. In fact, this feels amazing. It is currently 85 degrees. All I want to do is sit in front of this fan. To be completely honest, I want this fan going the entire time. You know, the truth is, it's 85 degrees, quite humid, and on low, this is putting out just enough air where I'm comfortable. And again, that's what makes camping in warm conditions possible. It's airflow, it's a movement of air. As long as you have that, you can stay comfortable. As I said, most of the time I run these on low, but there have been occasions where I've cranked them up. There was a time out in Wyoming a few years back, 115 degrees. We stopped for lunch. It was unbelievably hot. We were outside on a picnic table. I put down my Smart Devil fan, Susie put down hers, turned them on, and we were very comfortable. That's outside of the vehicle. Inside of the vehicle when sleeping at nighttime, super warm. Our fans are going, and we stayed comfortable too. Talking about how quiet these fans are, I'm gonna put this up next to the mic here. You hear the motor running, but it's not whining or anything like that. It's not irritating, I should say. So, all in all, these are quite quiet. There's nothing irritating about their performance or anything like that. Oftentimes, when it comes to small fans like this, they can produce a whining sound that can get on your nerves, but that's not the case with these. At the same time, when stationary, there's no rattling sounds. Even if you shake these, there's no rattling. Naturally, being able to rotate the head and focusing that air exactly where you want it, it's huge. And that's a feature that makes these fans very versatile. You can use them in so many different situations. Inside of a tent, on a table, in your vehicle. Speaking of which, in your vehicle, you can see here that I put some Velcro on the top. I also put a piece of Velcro in the truck so I can mount the fan, I can then angle it, and I can get that air to go exactly where I want it. That's just a trick that you can use so that you can stay comfortable when car camping. Talking about this Smart Devil fan, this has been incredibly reliable. Not once has this failed to fire up. I will say that a little bit of the shielding has pulled back from the fan itself. You can imagine how many times I have pulled this out of a bag, put it back, pulled it out. So being able to see just a little bit of the wiring, it's really no big deal. You could, of course, fix this relatively easily. But after 5 years, that's the only thing that I've noticed with this fan. Otherwise, it still works great. When it comes to power efficiency for these fans, I have been able to come up with some numbers. These figures are extremely rough, so do take them with a grain of salt. With a 10,000 milliamp hour battery pack, my best estimates is that on low, it draws 2,500 milliamp hours. It's 500 on medium and 1 amp on high. I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, that's great, what does that mean in the real world? I'm glad you asked. With a 10,000 milliamp hour battery, basically, this fan can run all night long on low, and you can also charge your phone. Now, of course, that will vary on what phone, what size battery that you're charging, and so on. But for myself, I can charge my phone, run this fan all night long, and have power left over. When it comes to these fans and the cons, these are the things that you need to keep in mind. One fan is not enough for 2 people. So if you're heading out with someone else, more than likely they will need their own fan too. The next con deals with the cord. You cannot unplug these. They are permanently attached to the fan. And I would like to see that not being the case. I'd like to see it plug USB into the fan, and on the other side you have a USB-A or USB-C plug. That way, if you have any sort of issues with the cord, you can replace it. As we're seeing here with the Smart Devil, the shielding is beginning to pull back. It's beginning to shrink with this fan. If this fan had a USB port, this would not be an issue at all. The last con that I have for this fan and for the other is this. We have a USB-A port here. Some individuals may want a USB-C. Luckily, there are adapters out there, so it's not that big of a deal. I'm just mentioning it. And that right there wraps up this episode. As far as the RJ fan goes, it's great. The Smart Devil, it's great. They are basically the same fan. Very slight differences. As far as the performance goes, they're the same. I can't tell a difference between this one and that one there. I can tell a difference in terms of price. This is $10 cheaper. Why not save money? You know what I mean? Ultimately, these are game changers. These are cheat codes for camping in warm conditions. Again, these are so lightweight. You really can take these and use these anywhere and everywhere. And to be frank, I'm not sure if I could have done some of the camping trips that I've done this year without this fan, because it has been so hot here in Western North Carolina. All of the East Coast, super hot. South Carolina, the state below me, they've set records for heat. It's the hottest summer ever. Here in the mountains of North Carolina, we're not setting any records, but it is hot. It is humid. And the only way that I've been able to go out on these backpacking trips, the overland trips, is because of this. Plain and simple. With that being said, I want you all to know that I purchased this with my own money. I don't care if you buy it. I'm just simply sharing information, and that is it. The outdoor gear review is agenda-free now, previously, and always. That's never going to change. I will never ever do sponsorships on this channel. And with that, I'm done. Sound off in the comment section down below. What do you all think about these fans? Hopefully RJVW will bring out this color scheme again. Hopefully it comes back out in stock. You know what I'm trying to say. Hopefully that's the case, because in my opinion, that is a great looking product there. I really like that color combination. It looks slick. If you found this episode helpful, please hit the thumbs up. I do appreciate it. Consider subscribing. If you want to join the Wolf Pack, you can do so on Patreon and here on YouTube. Oh yeah. Until next time, everyone, take care, be well, strength and honor. Bye for now.